Hey friends, I'm meteorologist Emily Merz. We are going to talk a little bit about this winter storm that a lot of us are already seeing so far this morning, and it's only going to get a little bit more intense from here as we go through the rest of the day. Let's really get into it. We'll switch this over to our graphics. Here's what we're looking at as far as these warnings and advisories. A lot of us are going to be in this winter storm warning. Now keep in mind, this is kind of cutting off North Mankato and Mankato. North Mankato is in fact included in that winter storm warning, whereas Mankato is just in that winter weather advisory. Regardless, though, we're still looking at some areas of very heavy snowfall and then later transitioning into some rain as we get into the next couple of days. Here's what we're looking at as far as that snow. We're looking at the potential for around 4 to 8 inches for the most part for the majority of our area. However, further towards the south, just due to the track of this system, we'll likely see a little bit less than that. But that's not going to necessarily be the case for our friends further up north. We do have the potential for some of those counties in that pink color to reach a foot, if not even a foot and a half, if not even more than that as we get later on into the day. For Mankato specifically, we're in that 4 to 8 range. I'm expecting about 6 inches when it's all said and done, including what we saw last night and earlier on this morning. If we look now at our radar, here's that system that we're watching. It's moving through Iowa at this time. Lots going on in Iowa. We have very heavy snowfall, some very heavy rain, even a bunch of lightning, and we're not going to necessarily have to worry about that here, but that system is going to continue to track further towards the north, bringing us a decent amount of precipitation. We can zoom in a little bit more. Here is the radar as of about 11 a.m. We can see most of us receiving some kind of snowfall at this point, and some of us are seeing some pretty heavy snowfall as well, especially if you look in that darker blue color. That's really where we're going to be seeing some of those very strong snowfall rates. Also some areas of freezing rain and some ice moving around as well. Keep an eye out for that, especially once we start to transition into that rain. So I've been talking about this transition. Let's track this out on the hour-by-hour futurecast. Later in the next few hours is really when we're going to be expecting the worst of this to continue to move through. As we can see, around 4 o'clock Sunday, that's when that heavier line of snow or that heavier band of snow is going to shift up from the south and start to impact some of our more southern counties. Now, here's where things get a little bit tricky. We see that line there between that snow and that ice and the rain kind of right around that Minnesota-Iowa border. That's going to be important to keep an eye on later on today because depending on when we see these temperatures carry over, now we are seeing temperatures in the lower 30s, and as you know, 32 is that freezing point as far as if that precip type is expected to be rain or snow. So a lot of what's going to be happening later on today is going to depend on those temperatures. If we do warm up a little bit earlier, we'll likely see a little less snow and some heavier rainfall later on today. And of course, vice versa, if we see those temperatures remain a little bit chillier, we'll probably receive a little bit more snowfall out of this. Regardless, at some point later tonight, overnight into tomorrow morning, we'll see this transition over into mostly rain for southern Minnesota. And then through the day on Monday, we're expecting a little bit of a break here and there from some of that rain. But then look at that around lunchtime tomorrow. That's when we'll see that snow kind of wrap back around the side of that system, likely going to be dropping another inch, maybe 2 on our more western counties. So definitely keep that in mind. That is going to continue into around dinner time on Monday. We'll likely see a couple of gaps in that rain, but we're also looking at the potential for some heavier rainfall. Now that is all good though. We do need that precipitation, and we're going to see that continue to fizzle out even into Tuesday morning. We could be starting that day off with some flurries and some snow showers here and there. Another thing to really watch out for with this system is going to be those roads. Even if we don't receive a ton of snow, and even once that snow stops when we get into Monday, very wet conditions. We'll likely see some slushy, slippery, messy roads as we go into Monday morning and potentially even into Tuesday. So if you're going anywhere, commuting to work, wherever you need to go, use some extra caution. You're going to want to leave some extra time to get to where you need to go. Keep in mind, it's kind of like repeating the beginning of winter all over again, where you have to get your bearings again for driving in this winter weather. So definitely be on the lookout for that. We'll finally see some clearer conditions move back in on Tuesday. I mentioned that moisture is a really good thing. Look at that precip forecast. Now, this is all the moisture all together. This is all of the snow in liquid form. This is the rain. We're going to be seeing about 2 inches of precipitation in general with this. And when we talk about snow and that liquid equivalent, usually we're looking at a 10-to-1 ratio. So that means that about 10 inches of snow winds up being about an inch of rain in that equivalent. So lots and lots of moisture, and in southern Minnesota, we certainly need it, and we'll be getting a decent amount of it. So let's look at a couple of cameras. Let's see what's going on out there now. Pretty moderate snowfall coming down in Mankato at the moment. We're going to continue to see that snow even thicken up a little bit more as we continue through the rest of this afternoon. Another view from Mankato, the road's still looking pretty good, but keep in mind it is going to be very slick out there, especially later on tonight when that ice is able to refreeze in some areas. Here's Marshall, definitely a little bit of a different story further out towards the west. We're seeing very, very reduced visibility, and this is kind of what's to come for a lot of us as we go into the rest of the afternoon. Another view, Louisville, same thing, very reduced visibility. We're going to be seeing some very strong wind speeds today and then again on Tuesday. So blowing snow is definitely going to be a concern as well. And again, that is going to impact those travel conditions. So yet another reason to use a little bit of extra caution getting to where you need to go. So I know that was a lot of information. Just to wrap this up, we have first alert days starting today, going into Monday and Tuesday also. Heavy wet snow today. Keep in mind that this is what we call that heart attack snow. You'll want to take it easy with shoveling. It's very heavy. It's very exhausting. Don't overdo it when it comes to dealing with that heavy snow. We're going to see some accumulation, travel impacts, and then tomorrow that transition into the rain and icy conditions. Tuesday, a little bit more snow mixing in as well, but that wind, again, becoming an issue. So be sure to stay tuned. We'll have updates all day today and into the next couple of days. Be sure to download the KUIC weather app. We will have multiple updates on there throughout the day as well. Stay warm, stay dry, stay safe.